Welcome back to Game On, where we use sports and athletics to discuss everything related to mental health. This morning, when I got into the car, turned on the radio, I was listening to a sports discussion on MVP, most valuable player candidates in the NFL. A certain name came up, and there was a little bit of a debate on the show, whereas one argued clearly the best quarterback player in the league this year. And on the other side of the debate was, well, yes, certainly very talented and having an amazing year. However, I really loathe, those were his words, I loathe him as a person. I don't think he's a good teammate. In fact, I think he's a terrible teammate. And he sabotaged the offseason for his team. And because he's saying this and this and this and this publicly, I'm not going to say who it was, I don't think he deserves it because he was not a good teammate. And while he got the job done, I don't think he deserves it. And it was really an interesting discussion on what's the letter of the description of what qualifies someone as a most valuable player, and do things off the field come into play. And it got expanded that throughout history in sports, there's plenty of players who maybe off the field weren't considered, good people, weren't nice people, or people who it's been affected them getting into the Hall of Fame, getting certain votes because people didn't like them, whether they just crossed people in the media the wrong way, or they really did not nice things and didn't have a nice demeanor. And it got me thinking, when it comes to each of us, where do we draw the line? To each end of the spectrum, whether it's what our expectations are for other people or what expectations are for ourselves. So to each end of the spectrum, there's the bottom line, the strict bottom line. The world revolves around money. It revolves around results. It revolves around whatever it is to get the job done. At what cost? Now, and there's, everyone has their own personal values and ethics, whether it's own individual ones or they subscribe to a certain set of values set aside from their belief system. Now, on the other side of the spectrum is to live in a world where our standard is that everyone is 100% ethical and kind all the time. That might be nice. It's just not really realistic, in the same sense that it's not realistic as a human to expect themselves to always be happy. And then plenty of us fall into that trap of, well, I should always be happy. Well, part of being human is the full spectrum of emotions, both ones that feel good and ones that don't feel good. So if our expectations for everyone is that humanity should be perfect, then that far end of the spectrum is also not really helpful. And so if I'm not going to do anything with someone who has some flaw, well, we all have flaws. We all have weaknesses. Now, I don't have a perfect answer, but it's a question to ask ourselves: where do we draw the line? Whether it's in a relationship, how much do we sacrifice? How that's against, what we value. Whether it's in work, do I do business? Do I have a coworker? Do I take this job? Or do I just not take a job? But what if I don't get any jobs because I have the standard that it has to be 100% congruent with what I believe? So it's always a question of balance with the people that we interact with, relationships and work, and also within ourselves, sort of what we accept of ourselves, and what's something that we want to work on, and what are we defined by. And it's a little bit of a give and take. So that conversation this morning really sparked those thoughts of how do we balance the things external in our life, the things internal in our life, which I think all feeds into a really healthy mental health. Right? Thanks for watching. Have a great day.